and you know, I want to get some boost. I want to. Who doesn't like boost, right? Hey, how's it going, YouTube? This is Dave with D&E Performance coming to you from the garage. Not really gonna talk too much about the SM95 build at the moment. The chassis is completely done on the SM95, but I have a customer's car here, and also I've got a K24 that I'm working on. And this customer's car, I really don't normally film customers' cars, but it's been very challenging. Let's just say that. Car's been very challenging. Ever since I got the car, I got it right in the middle of COVID, and at the time, people were just buying up LS parts like crazy, and I couldn't get any LS parts for the motor, and I almost handed the motor, and actually I almost handed the whole build back to the guy because I was having trouble getting parts. And the blue, some parts came available, so I continued on. I don't know if that first sign was one of those signs where, you know, if you can't get something, then, you know, it's best to move on to something else. Pleading with the customer, and you know what he's been through in the last 6 years. He hasn't driven his car in like 6 years. He's been through like 3 other people. So I'm, you know, I stuck with, it's gonna happen. You know, stuff happens. It is what it is. I had a piston failure on a brand new build. The C-clip popped out of the pin bore, and it shot against the cylinder wall. Stuffed up the cylinder wall pretty good, enough to where I'm hoping that the block will clean up under 30 thousandths. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna have to try to come up with the plan B and figure out what I'm gonna do from there. It is a boosted application, so I mean, the car was at somebody else, and then it blew up, and then it came to me. I did, you know, thorough build on it, and I think it was just one of those. And so I got the pistons, and I had 3 of the piston ringlands that were smashed. So I sent the pistons back, and then they gave me another set of pistons. I'm not really gonna say who the piston manufacturer is. A lot of people, and there's a lot of good comments about these pistons. But unfortunately, I've had bad luck with them. I'm probably not going to use them ever again in the future. I mean, it's just, you know, you get a product, and then the product is bad right off the bat, and then you get it again, and you know, they sent, I mean, the customer service was great. They sent me the product, everything is fine on that end. There's no haggling or anything like that. It's just the manufacturing portion of it. And so anyway, when I got it, everything looked good. Everything went together fine. You know, it's just that one piston on that one side. There might have been some machining differences in between where the C-clip bore goes, where the C-clip actually snaps into the piston. But anyways, I don't really want to show the manufacturer of the piston. The rods, I'll tell you what rods I'm using though. They're K1 rods. So here's the piston, and it came out, it literally, like the snap ring came out of this end, and then it shot against the cylinder wall. and move some of this. I don't think I've taken the clip out of there. Yeah, I just kind of left it in the bottom of the pan the way it was when I took the motor apart. This is the first time this has ever happened to me, but that's how that was laying in the bottom of the pan. There's a C-clip. I know what everybody's going to say. Oh, you put the C-clip in, or you didn't snap the C-clip all the way in. No, I did snap the C-clip all the way in. And I've done quite a few motors where they have floating wrist pins and you got to snap the clips in. I've never had a problem, ever, until this point. So the blocks at the machine shop, like I said, blocks in machine shop right now. Here's the customer's car, and you know, it's a 87 Grand National. We did upgrade his turbo, and we did Holley EFI. I did most of the wiring on the car. Not most of it, almost all of it. There's some stuff over there that I didn't do, but pretty much went through what was there, and all the rest of the stuff I kind of set up. But this is a GT45. He had a GT30 or 35 on here, and I think that turbo was causing, I think that's why the first motor blew up, because there might have been some back pressure issues on that deal. So, and then on top of it, the injectors weren't as big as, you know, we had thought, and you know, injector data, new standalone systems, it really needs to be in there accurately in order for all the closed loop compensation stuff to work properly. So I think that was a big thing. But I installed the Holley system. I installed that in here, and I didn't install the previous stuff. I mean, that came from somebody else, and they had another system that I'm not a very good. I'm not a fan of it at all. In my opinion, it's a crappy system. I'm not gonna name what system that is, because I don't need to. You know, I mean, it might be working for other people, but from what I can tell and doing the research, I just told them, you know what, you need to switch over to a Holley. You have way more control. That other system is, I don't know what's going on with it. It needs a lot of work as far as engineering goes on that system, but you know, so he agreed, we went with the Holley. I actually got one for the SM95. Mine's not a max, mine's just an X, because I plan on running a Turbo 400. But anyway, so the other project that I have going on here is a K24. And I know I have a video talking about the em2. It's my wife's car, but we're going to be upgrading some cars, so moving some stuff around, and I'm probably going to end up K-swapping that em2 as affordably as I can do it, on just a really tight budget, and we're going to turbo it. There's some areas where I'm going to spend the money, and there's some areas where I'm just, if it's not broken, we're not going to fix it. It is in fairly good condition. I picked this motor up on Marketplace, I don't know, probably almost 8-9 months ago, and it's just been sitting in the corner. I finally got to you know, tear it down and take a look at it and see what was wrong with it. The guy that I bought it from said that, you know, it had low compression in one cylinder. Well, it had a blown head gasket. So I took it. I just got done taking it apart, and pretty surprised at as far as the pistons were junk. All the ringlands and stuff, foiling ringlands, all that, those were all frozen. It took a little bit to wiggle those around, but I don't know if that's just because it's been sitting. So again, I don't recommend anybody doing a build like this, but I don't care. I'm going to throw it together and I'm going to see what happens. The motor that's in the car right now, because the car runs and drives, I literally threw that motor together. When I bought the car, it had 4 bent valves, so I just sourced another motor, and then I took 2 motors and made 1 motor. Really not the way to do things, but you know, sometimes whatever your budget allows, that's what's going to happen. And I had to make it happen because we needed the car in order to drive. So I replaced the rod bearings, main bearings. The cylinders were they were at max for needing a engine refresh. Didn't have the money at the time to do the machine work, so I went ahead and I just sent it. Pretty much, we just sent it, and you know, it's still running right now. It did blow a head gasket about, oh gosh, I don't even know. I think it was about 4 or 5 months ago. It blew a head gasket. I let the head gasket go. The fan switch went out on my wife, and she was driving and didn't notice it, and it just wiped the head gasket out. So I just got done replacing the head gasket again on it. The car's, it has it has noticeable piston slap when you go to warm it up. Once it warms up, there's still a little bit there, but it's nothing like crazy bad. But it's a Honda, and it just keeps going. I haven't had any problems with it. It works fine. Air conditioning works in it. Power steering, everything works in the car. I think we've put almost, between both of us, we put almost about 40,000 miles on that car in the last couple of years, which is, you know, quite a bit. But we drive the crap out of that thing, and so I'm at the point where I made a decision. I picked up this K motor for like $100, and then I've got a bunch of other parts that I got from the junkyard. I picked up a transmission at the junkyard for like, I think because I took the intermediate shaft and I took a bunch of other stuff, and from the donor car, which was an Accord. I think it was like a 03 or 4 or something Accord. And I took the transmission, intermediate shaft, a bunch of hardware and stuff, and I think I walked out paying like $350 for the transmission, which is, you know, it's relatively cheap to get a K manual transmission for that. I mean, I'm gonna K swap that em2. It's just gonna be a lot better. That chassis is a lot cleaner. Everything is there. I don't have to do like a crazy amount of work like I was with the EF hatch. I mean, it would have been just a ridiculous amount of parts, and I mean, I was planning on doing it, but it was just going to take longer than expected. And I think with the em2, you know, because the EP3 and some of the other, you know, the Honda Civic EP3, the DC5, all those cars, they all, you know, the chassis are all pretty much the same. So it's going to make the swap a lot quicker, faster, and easier. And then, you know, of course, the chassis is a lot cleaner. But anyway, here's the K. So I just got done tearing the K apart. I ended up sourcing an RBB head from the internet. So instead of because the block is actually a k24 A4 and not the k24 A2. So my plan is to go ahead and just use the it's pretty much the TSX head, and what I'm planning on doing here is pretty much stripping the head down and then just checking to make sure I don't have any bent valves, and then I'll probably just lap everything in and literally put it back together. I am not. I may take the. I might check the surface and see if it needs to be, if it needs to be resurfaced or not. I might resurface it. I might not resurface it. It just depends on what I want to do. I am definitely going to, with this block, I'm definitely going to, because we're going to run boost on it, I'm going to run a good head gasket, because for whatever reason these the factory OEM Honda head gaskets, I mean this motor had a blown head gasket. We've already went through one head gasket on the on the D17. So for whatever reason, even though it's a multi-layered head gasket, it's the coating in between, which is pretty surprising, especially for MLS head gasket. So it's this coating right here that's in between the cylinder walls. Once this gets smashed down, and then if the car overheats, this stuff just disintegrates in between the cylinders, and then that's what causes. And then you have these you have these water jackets that are right here, and then it just starts blowing coolant into the cylinders. And so if you guys have any, all you K guys out there, if you have any recommendations for head gasket for K series K24, I found one on the internet. It's JE Total Seal head gasket, and this portion right here, where this in between the cylinders, it looks like it's a lot thicker. So when you go to torque it down, like it's gonna have better quench in between these parts. And then so that's the one head gasket I found. I don't know on some of these boosted applications what you guys are getting away with. So any recommendations for that, just let me know in the comments, and then if you can, just leave a part number. But you can tell, like, it was a done deal from the get-go. Once the head gasket went. The same thing on my wife's car. It blew out all of them. Once it got hot, it just annihilated the gasket, which is like I said, it's kind of crazy because it is a multi-layer steel head gasket, but I guess that portion is just weak. So anyway, I went ahead and just took my flex hone and cleaned up the bores. I am not going to worry about, just to let you know, I'm not going to worry about machining this block at all. We're just going to send this block. One thing on the crankshaft, I have to send the crankshaft off. One of the bolt provisions on the back has got strip threads, so I'm hoping the machine shop can fix this crank, because I really don't want to buy another crank. I know this might sound cheap to some people, like, oh, you're just a cheap ass, but honestly, if I'm boosting this motor and if it blows up, at least I won't have like 10 grand into this thing. I'd rather blow up a $1,500 cheap build than blow up a $4,000 or $5,000 motor build. My other thing is trying to leave the car as factory as I possibly can. I know this is it's gonna be a challenge to do that, but this is the plan, and I'm just gonna kind of go with it. Anyway, so that's what's in the works right now. There's really not much else to talk about. I'll be bringing you some more K content as this motor build progresses. Right now, I'm as far as what's going on with this motor build. Any advice? Go ahead. I'm a little bit new to the K. I'm not new to Honda, like the old stuff, B series, D series stuff, but this K stuff, I'm a little bit new to it. So I'm kind of I'm just learning as I go. So we'll pretty much, this is just going to be a learning curve for me. A motor's a motor. It's an air pump. They're all pretty much, there's just a different stuff to put in this motor together. It was the same thing on the D17. Smash the like button, comment, all that good stuff. If you like the content, comment. If you don't, comment. I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. I'll catch you guys on the flip.